I mocked my husband in front of our guests. Less than 10 minutes later, he said something that ended our marriage on the spot. At first, nobody realized what was happening. Not our friends, not the waiter, not even me. Because when Daniel finally spoke, he didn't raise his voice. He didn't slam the table. He didn't insult me. What he said was far more devastating. And by the time I understood the damage I had done, it was already too late. My name is Rachel, and for 10 years I thought my husband's silence meant he didn't mind my jokes. I couldn't have been more wrong. It happened on our 10th wedding anniversary. We had reserved a private corner of the restaurant where Daniel proposed to me a decade earlier. The atmosphere was perfect. Candlelight danced across the tables. Soft piano music drifted through the room. Our closest friends surrounded us, sharing stories and laughing over old memories. Daniel looked happy, or at least I thought he did. Looking back now, I realize he spent the entire evening doing what he always did, taking care of everyone else. He refilled drinks before anyone asked. He remembered everyone's favorite meals. He ordered my favorite dessert without even checking the menu. That was Daniel, quiet, reliable, always thinking about other people. Then one careless moment changed everything. One of our friends raised a glass and smiled. "Rachel, you know how lucky you are. Daniel might be the perfect husband." Everyone nodded. I laughed. A stupid, careless laugh. "Perfect?" I said loudly. He's so quiet that sometimes I forget he's even in the room. The entire table burst into laughter. Daniel smiled. At least that's what I thought. Now I know it wasn't a smile. It was a mask. Encouraged by everyone's reaction, I kept going. If I waited for Daniel to make a decision, we'd still be planning our honeymoon. More laughter. I felt clever, funny, the center of attention. Then I delivered the joke that destroyed my marriage. I raised my glass and grinned. I guess every family needs one confident adult. The laughter exploded again. But this time, Daniel didn't laugh. Instead, he slowly placed his fork onto his plate. The tiny metallic sound somehow cut through the entire restaurant. One by one, the laughter faded. The smiles disappeared. The table became silent. Daniel looked around at everyone. Then he looked directly at me. His eyes weren't angry. They were exhausted, like someone carrying a weight for far too long. Finally, he spoke. "I'm done being your joke." 5 words, that's all. But they hit harder than a scream. My stomach dropped. The room felt colder. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. I forced a nervous smile. I waited for him to laugh, to tell everyone he was joking. He didn't. Instead, he took a slow breath. "For years," he said quietly, "I've listened to these comments. Every holiday, every birthday, every dinner with friends." His voice remained calm, which somehow made it worse. "I smiled because I loved you. I smiled because I didn't want to embarrass you." Tears immediately filled my eyes. The reality of what was happening finally began sinking in. I thought eventually you'd notice how much it hurt. The room was completely silent now. Even nearby tables had stopped talking. Then Daniel said something I'll never forget. "You don't make fun of me because you hate me." He paused. "You do it because you don't respect me." The words felt like a knife twisting in my chest. For the first time, I saw every moment through his eyes. Every joke, every sarcastic comment, every laugh I had chased at his expense. What I called teasing had become humiliation, and I had done it for years. "I never wanted to hurt you," I whispered. Daniel nodded sadly. "I know." Then he looked away. That's what hurts the most. When we got home, I cried and begged him to forgive me. I promised I would change. I promised it would never happen again. For a moment, he simply stood there. Then he said the sentence that ended everything. "I believe you'll change." Hope rushed into my chest. But then he finished. "I just wish you had changed before you broke me." An hour later, he walked out the front door carrying a small bag. And for the first time in 10 years, the house was completely silent. No laughter, no jokes, no second chances. Just the painful realization that respect is the foundation of love. And once it's destroyed, sometimes love disappears with it. I spent years thinking words were harmless, but I learned the truth too late. Sometimes a marriage doesn't end because of one huge betrayal. Sometimes it dies one joke at a time. And by the time the person you love finally stops laughing, they're already gone.